Hello everyone, it is Ego. I just wanted to talk about what's going on in the Smash community as of late, with the drama pertaining to Nintendo's actions against the community. I wanted to critique Nintendo's actions, um, and try to make a sense out of all of what's going on. Because let's be frank here, nothing makes sense. There's no reason why Nintendo should be treating us this way, but such is life. They Are we valuable customers, or are we cattle that they just milk money from? Are we the cash cows? But yeah, I wanted to review the video the Hungrybox did about the situation because I think he's very qualified to talk about what's going on. One, he's ranked number one in the world for Super Smash Brothers Melee. Two, he is one of the biggest content creators and names in the community as of now. And three, he has a competitive tournament company that he runs on his own, and he should have the expertise of what is the dynamic between uh, being a TO and running your events and also collabing with Nintendo, because I believe there's a lot of complications with licensing the event if you're trying to stream it and all that jazz. So like he's the perfect candidate to like review this situation with. So we're gonna be reviewing Hungrybox's video, and I'm gonna be injecting some of my thoughts about what's going on, and yeah, let's go.
Hello everyone, Hungrybox here again with another video. I guess some continuation now on the recent drama that has emerged between Nintendo and the competitive Melee scene. Today a tweet came out from a guy named Anonymous Smash 2 with the title "How Nintendo Has Hurt the Smash Community." In it says that this was written by an informed Smash insider. Please read and share, tagging myself, Mango, Left, and Armada, Blur, Samzora, Debuzz. I mean, every single person who would potentially have a voice in the scene and what it is. And so today, I really did want to read this and summarize for you what is going on and what this actually means. So if we just go into it. This was written months prior to Nintendo sending a C&D to Big House. It was not written with this context in mind. This is being released anonymously for obvious reasons.
I just want to thank the guy who leaked all of this so-called information, because without him, we wouldn't be talking about these issues that has been haunting and I would say poisoning the community from the shadows. It's so funny how political Nintendo is, that because let's be real, Nintendo is a company. I do respect that, but it's very it is very disappointing to see what they do to us in the community. It's it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
To begin, I want to state that I'm not a journalist. What I'm writing below is directly from what I've been told by the individuals who work at these companies or are familiar with the business dealings of these companies by the nature of their position in esports. I did not obtain emails, contracts, or documents to verify their claims. I am merely trusting their word, something important to put here. If a journalist wants to take it to the next level to check everything, I would encourage it.
They should.
I want to point out that what I write below doesn't include Melee. Most of what I'm about to describe applies to Smash 4, Ultimate, even Brawl as well. All Smash scenes have been held back by Nintendo's actions. So this...
Okay, that is one of the most important key points that people tend to forget. What's going on is that all Smash scenes have been held back by Nintendo's actions. So it doesn't matter if you play Ultimate, it doesn't matter if you play Brawl, it doesn't matter if you just play Smash 4, it doesn't matter if you play Melee by itself. It doesn't matter what camp you're in, my guy. You are affected. and people need to understand that because people think it's just melee, and people will just like laugh at melee. Oh, my melee is an old game, and they make fun of it. But every single sector of the community is being affected, and that's harsh.
This is, sort of going back for a long time now. I'm writing this for the purpose of making the community at large aware of the things that I and many other members of the community have been aware of for years, but were simply unwilling to talk about publicly because of the hope that Nintendo would make something happen. That hope is pretty much gotten from me now, so I feel completely okay with sharing what I know. So this person had some information that they wanted to share, but I guess they had hope for the community. But now it's no longer the case. For the longest time, it's been known that Nintendo has wanted to avoid supporting the Smash
He
esports
hesitated
scene in a way that helps us grow past the grassroots level. Nintendo is this entity that, for cultural or financial reasons, has simply chosen to not get involved in esports with Smash, at least not on the level that publishers get involved in most major esports. We've heard quotes from top executives at Nintendo many times about their disinterest in competitive gaming. We accept this because it's their intellectual property and they can have whatever vision they see fit for it, which is true. They have the legal standing there, and that's something you have to respect.
Why can't I just be born in 3020 where like all of this primitive Nintendo's customary actions like won't take place at all, like where a timeline where they adapted to the world's needs. Like this is actually like preposterous that they're doing stuff like this, and it's 2020. It's 2020. Could you imagine that? How like conservative this company is.
Unfortunately, but Nintendo stance feels less innocent when you understand they deliberately prevent
Here we go.
other entities from helping our scene through various actions or inaction. Furthermore, these acts have gone on while stamping their names on our grassroots events or inviting a few of our personalities to their events. We regularly get a smidgen of hope of taking steps in the right direction, but no significant changes ever take place. Like I said, we've seen them support events. They sometimes throw in maybe setups. They have like the stations there for Ultimate. They sponsor the event with ads. I'm not really too sure how much money they give events like Genesis and Big House, or if any at all. A lot of that is under the table, but still, it is interesting. They directly
Didn't like the champion for like a Japanese tournament, like the whole of Japan, like win like a golden controller or something like that. It was just like a controller, that, or it was the Joy-Cons. I can't remember, but is like imagine playing for like 9+ hours and then like you get like eShop points and golden controller. Like that's
benefit from our community's existence while providing relatively little support and taking actions that hurt our scene. This note is written to shed light on the different ways Nintendo has stopped the scene from growing. As part of this community, you deserve to know what many top players and influencers in the Smash scene have known for years. The only reason I speak on this is because I feel we're now at the point where we have nothing to lose. In the past, we'd be afraid to speak publicly because there was some hope that we were so close to having a real esports relationship with Nintendo, only to have the opportunity consistently slip away. He makes a list here of third parties that have attempted to work with Smash. There are several entities that have worked with Nintendo to create events for Melee, Smash 4, and Ultimate. The following are some of the bigger esports entities. He lists E-League, which brought Counter-Strike, Street Fighter, and other games to ESPN. Did try to throw a big event for Smash. They only got the rights to rebroadcast the E3 Ultimate Invitational. The rebroadcast rights served mostly as consolation from Nintendo, as Nintendo wasn't cooperating on allowing them to run a more meaningful Smash event.
That's crazy.
HTC Throwdown, which I came to in California, was a successfully capped one-day event ran by HTC Esports. They wanted to run a circuit with much more money than we had ever seen in Smash, but because an official Nintendo Twitch circuit was just about finalized, HTC was asked to instead aim to sponsor the main circuit rather than a competing circuit. HTC backed out under the expectation that a Twitch Nintendo circuit would come to fruition. This circuit never came to be.
Wow.
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 It hurts. It hurts because, like, I have a pretty good idea as to who wrote this and told me about this, and it hurts to see like it was all true. It's discouraging, honestly, but I'll could go on there. ESL made an attempt
So
to work with
sad.
Nintendo to run its own circuit in the league, but Nintendo was unresponsive. They tried to make meaningful content with the company. It didn't go anywhere. Nintendo was willing to have Splatoon on ESL. They even remember when the Switch... Do you guys remember when the Switch first got released, the trailer for it? You had like a big
I
stadium
remember
ad,
this.
and now we're here? It's kind of odd. To me, this shows that those
Look at
important
this.
scenes that don't thrive on their own, like Splatoon and ARMS, but they won't
Imagine
touch
if this
Smash
was
because they can let us
Nintendo.
hang back and reap the benefits that we create for a grassroots community. Essentially letting us do all the work while doing nothing to help us
Splatoon.
get bigger. And this has been the big back and forth of it. And then there's MLG. MLG had a Melee event in 2015, later with Smash 4.
Look at that. Look at that.
They didn't continue with Melee after 2015 because Nintendo wanted to charge a $50K licensing fee per event, over double the asking rate for Street Fighter 4, which is Capcom provides the pot bonuses and a much
So Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC wasn't enough, huh?
more modern game. It's just insane. This practice to me seems like a way to effectively shut down Melee at MLG without directly preventing them from running it. In other words, it's not them saying no, it's that they put such barriers to it that they have no choice but saying no. It might have been the same thing with Big House, except well, probably not, because Big House was using, vanilla. I would also assume that this fee would be charged and no real support would be provided by Nintendo, as has been the case with some of our grassroots events. And it's crazy because I was at MLG Anaheim and it felt like a legit thing and it felt like everyone enjoyed it. It had great viewership, great content, great storylines around it. Again, this only serves to add to how confusing this is. There's been other incidents related to MLG that have spoken to publicly by former employees. In incidents, Nintendo denied MLG the rights to stream Brawl in 2010. And Nintendo denied USA from televising the Smash portion of events in 2006. I don't get it. Wouldn't
Why?
televising your
Why?
game give you more sales? Am I
Exactly.
crazy? Am I talking to a wall here? Hello? What? To quote from Sundance, we know that Smash community is just as excited as we are to follow the tournament and see who makes the mark on the biggest stage in gaming, and we're committed to doing everything we can to make our coverage of the tournament as comprehensible as possible. However, I'm sorry to say that we will not be able to have a live stream for Smash in Orlando this weekend. This sounds just like what they tried to do in EVO in 2013. In order to stream something like this, we have to secure live streaming rights from the game's publisher, and despite our best efforts, we have not been able to get permission from Nintendo thus far. We kept the confirmation from going all the way down to the wire in hopes that we'd get an 11th hour approval and still could stream it, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
Nintendo needs to get with the times and understand that our main source for media these days is Twitch, and also mostly Twitch, but live streaming platforms. So they need to amend their laws or whatever their policies and change it like immediately. And Twitch has been like around for so long now. They should have done it like years ago, before Ultimate came out.
It's just so odd. I wish I could sit down with this, one of the head honchos of Nintendo just to ask why. What is to be lost? What is not to be gained here?
I wish that
disappointing
happens.
news. There's no
I
way
wish
around it.
that would
A company
happen.
of our size simply has to play by the rules, the law. I know a lot of you guys have seen local Smash tournaments streamed online and probably wondering why we can't just do the same thing. The answer is because we're a real company with real visibility and real things to lose.
Wow.
We can't fly under the radar like a local tournament would. But here's the thing. We're in the era of Twitch. We're in the era of live streaming. At what point do you draw the line where a company
just said
is
that.
real or legit? When I hosted Overlords of Orlando and I have, that is my business. I own that business in Orlando. Am I no longer allowed to stream my
Right.
events because I'm Overlords of Orlando, because I want to use a version of Melee or a version of Ultimate that might be slightly tweaked to make a better experience for the players, which might, I don't know, in turn entice them to buy their own title of the game, which in turn supports Nintendo? Where do
Exactly.
you draw the line? If majors are a real thing, local should be a real thing too. We shouldn't be held back by the number of people that enter an event, the money put into it, the visibility on something. If you're gonna make laws on what can and can't be streamed, make laws on numerics. Make laws on how much money literally needs to go into something before it's considered legit.
Right.
Because other than that,
Right,
this is
right.
just a massive gray area. While the MLG era was very long ago,
Make it definite, like definitive. Make it clear. Make it concise, and just be clear with the community as to what do we need. Nintendo, what do you need from us to make these events legit? Simple. and I'm pretty sure we'll comply because we're a grassroots community and we're desperate for Nintendo's approval.
Impact of those decisions hit the scene at the most point where it was just starting to thrive. They would have effectively shut us down had it not been for our revival in 2013 due to Evil and documentary. And I mean, if this had not happened, if we had not had that revival, we'd not be here. I sure as hell wouldn't be here. I'd be out doing coding. I'd be out being Juan to be at mine. Hungrybox would have ceased to existed because at that point, Melee would have been more of a burden than an actual luxury that it is for us.
That's harsh.
Red Bull. Now, I am sponsored by Monster, of course, but I'm going to read this just because it's part of the history. It was Red Bull, Twitch, and Nintendo in talks to start a circuit similar to Red Bull Proving Grounds for Smash, and I can confirm this was the case.
Okay.
A circuit where monthly tournaments would take place across cities in the U.S., and at the end of the season, the top players from each locale would come to compete in the championship event. Red Bull did much of the legwork to get it launched, but it was Red Bull that was effectively cut from the conversations and the...
Imagine that. Like, that's so cool. Top players from each locale, like, competing. It's that sounds quite amazing. Like, imagine all the states like going against each other. It's insane. And the fact that Red Bull did much of the legwork. People don't know. Nintendo seems to forget who Red Bull is. Red Bull is one of the biggest esport companies and also like a very notable and like a big ass company to work with. There's like gaming companies that are begging on their knees, pleading for Red Bull to work with them, and Red Bull won't. Red Bull did much of the legwork to get it launched, but it was Red Bull that was effectively cut from the conversations. Imagine that. They had the audacity to do that. And it kind of shows you, unfortunately, how Nintendo deals with their business transactions. Like, it's very grimy, you know? Like, it's not illegal, but it's very grimy. Like, it doesn't sit well with me.
The deal together, and I will have you know that I myself too can confirm that this was something in.
Well, he could confirm. Okay.
I've had conversations with people at Red Bull, and this was the case.
Wow.
Years ago, I think in 2015. Twitch, or whatever it was, one of the E3s. And we go to Twitch now. I'm excited to read this because this is one of the hugest hush-hush things about it, so let's just hear it out. Twitch and later removed Red Bull had been in negotiations with Nintendo to run a sanctioned circuit for Smash with Smash 4 Melee starting around 2015. Twitch was fronting the cost of this deal with the budget of millions per year. I'm furious reading this. While Nintendo would own the League brand despite their lack of financial contribution, it's as if they knew Nintendo didn't want to be part of it. So
fronting
okay,
the cost,
all the risk for
they're
you,
paying
just give
for
us
everything.
blessing.
Millions
During this time, it seemed that Twitch was always close, only to have these conversations left without a response from Nintendo for months, delaying the process. In 2018, after 3 years of man hours and efforts to appease Nintendo, they came to an agreement. It wasn't just a verbal agreement or an agreement made in good faith. It was a written contractual agreement. Reminding you guys, this was a written contractual agreement meant to kick off the circuit for both Melee and Smash 4. It would have legitimized Melee and Smash 4 as a major esport. For years, we had the viewership, the engagement, the fan base, and then we could have become a top esport should we have the backing of our top developer. And after years of all that manpower, money, and stress, and with Nintendo, Nintendo had plans to announce Smash, after years of manpower, money, and stress in dealing with Nintendo, we got a written agreement to start a circuit. So what happened? Unbeknownst to anyone, Nintendo had plans to announce Smash Ultimate in 2018. They began ghosting everyone working at Twitch even after the agreement was made. And once Ultimate was announced, Nintendo came back to Twitch and effectively stated the circuit no longer made sense with Ultimate in sight. They told Twitch they wanted to see how the community responded to Ultimate to see if getting involved in esports this way would make sense once the game was released. Twitch was effectively told they'd have to wait again and that conversations may be revived later in the year when Ultimate came out. What?
See, I feel Hungrybox's pain because this is his career, right? He risked everything. He quit his job and everything to put himself there to play like esports for a living. And we could have had Smash 4 to be one of the most successful like esports in the world. But Nintendo just for some ungodly reason, I don't know why, like just decided not to. And it blows my mind that they're doing these type of things. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like it's like they don't want to collab with any other third parties. They want to solely own. They want to have a sole proprietorship with like Smash. They just want to own every. They want to own 100% of it. They want to be the regulatory body. They want to be the lawmakers. They want to be the pushers. They want to be the vendors, but they're not doing any of those things. We're giving them free marketing, and that's that. Like they're not even trying at all.
I
He's mad.
If there was this much hype and following through on Melee's life and Melee's competitive narrative, as well as Smash 4's narrative. I wasn't a much of a Smash 4 competitor, but I loved watching the sport. I loved the narratives in that game. If those two games didn't show Nintendo what Ultimate would have clearly brought, then why did they have to test it out? It was just a better, refined version of the game with way more hype behind it, way more sales, way more characters,
Precisely.
not to mention amazing opportunities for DLC, amazing integrations. We have Minecraft Steve in the game. Why wouldn't it work? Who is calling the shots here? It's just it boggles my mind, and I'm sorry. I know I get impassioned when I make videos, but like, oh, man, how out of touch can we be? Can they be?
You almost said the F word.
Another close call, another year of delay, and no guarantee they would make anything work once Ultimate was out. It's been a while since Ultimate's release with no news in sight of a circuit. As far as I've been made aware, those talks of a circuit are completely
Yeah, the Smash circuits
they
are
went
gone.
from a
Like
written contract, guys.
they had a written contract too, you know.
And he says, my personal comments in the above, according to my source, the entities have attempted to work with Nintendo while funding the costs. Every time they work with them, they just don't let it do it. All they seek is permission, not even money. This is not a normal practice. Usually devs front some money to themselves to compete for a chance to run the circle with companies like Red Bull and Twitch. In this case, you have Red Bull and Twitch willing to put down a lot of money to run a circuit and still hardly anything coming to Nintendo. Another thing to note is that the people who have put years and countless hours into making this work.
If Nintendo is a money grabbing machine, then why aren't they entertaining this? Okay, so if they're not a money grabbing machine, then it must be for their practices, and they don't want Smash to be a competitive game. They just want it to be a party game. But isn't that the point of Smash, where like you play any way you want? You could play casually with friends or with items on, or you could be a hardcore sweaty and compete in tournaments and with no items, you know, like. Or you could just be a mix of both, where you're playing in stamina mode with like items on, but then like you're only playing on Final Destination. Like, that's the point of Smash. You play any way you want. And it's kind of ironic that Nintendo isn't applying that to their mindset. It's crazy.
Nintendo also worked on making circuits happen for Tekken, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Street Fighter. Circuits
That's
for those
big.
games came to fruition within months. The negotiations were more simple. With Nintendo, it's taken 5 years, guys. That's 60 months, 20x the process. It becomes
5 years.
clear Nintendo doesn't want Smash Esports to happen, but they allow people to think it will. So what does this all mean? And why, in God's name, are they doing this? And according to this source, Nintendo thinks there's a benefit in keeping this scene hopeful while never shutting down completely. Think about it. If Nintendo really had such a problem with Smash Esports, they could shut it down. Likewise, if Nintendo really wanted to succeed, they could simply apply their incredible resources to make it happen. I have some thoughts on why we get neither outcome. Why are we getting this middle ground? Shutting us down would be very bad PR. Very, very true. At this point, we have a huge voice which would influence the actions of major corporations. It's a marvel of the internet and social media. The EVO 2013 drive is mentioned here. We raised $100,000 to fight breast cancer to be the last spot in that game. It was a huge ruckus on the internet, and they were back on stream, and now we're still ringing to this day. We're way bigger now. They know how loud we are. And that's why they wanted to only dip their toes and pretend to help this scene. Maybe they don't want us to go and get louder. Maybe they don't want to spend money on this esports thing. Maybe they think competitive Smash differs from the vision of the game. That might be true, but they simultaneously do what our voices want to give them. Marketing, a lot of free marketing. It makes sense when I think about it. They're always feigning support, never providing it, and never really stopping us either.
Okay, so what I realize is our relationship with Nintendo is what do you call a relationship when you put in 100% and a person doesn't really reciprocate, but you guys are in a relationship? Like, imagine like you guys are in agreement that you guys are in a relationship. You put 100% in of your time, and the other party doesn't reciprocate whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a toxic relationship with Nintendo. It's like all the red flags are there, but we're just deciding to stay. We're just there to stay. We're staying because we love Nintendo. We love Smash. We're staying because we love Nintendo. This is no different from a toxic relationship, because it is a toxic relationship. It's just mind-boggling, and it's just so disencouraging. It's so discouraging to witness all of this come to like the light. Like, it's sad. It's sad. Like, we put thousands of hours into this game. I would say we make subliminal sacrifices. We make sacrifices. Instead of going out playing with friends or being healthy and living longer, we decide to lock ourselves in a room and just use Smash as a form of escapism to like be better and play with like friends. The process of it is that we're having fun doing that, but we know deep down inside that it's not really worth it. And I came into this realization when Ultimate came out and Wi-Fi was at that state in 2018, in 2019, in 2020, and almost in 2021. We're just hooked. We're hooked. We love Nintendo and we can't get out of the relationship. And it's sad.
Now, you might believe Nintendo doesn't need our community to sell games. That's correct. However, does it benefit them to allow us to exist as we do? Of course it does. Yes. You know how much hype now with Twitch and live streaming and the advent of esports, how much hype that's brought Nintendo? So much.
For
they
free.
benefit from the influencers that the esports community have created. They've used these influencers as E3, myself included, to promote the game. If you have a world where Smash esports wasn't a thing, and Nintendo releases a Direct, you have quite a few people watching on the computers in the privacy of their homes, and when they're done, they shut down and move on with their day. What we have instead are those very same people replying to ESAM's tweet, sharing Leffen's video, playing Hbox's reaction on repeat. My God. You get hundreds of millions of impressions from fans of these influencers spreading news of the game everywhere. It doesn't take an advertising genius to understand the power of influencer marketing, and Nintendo is getting it not for free while actively suppressing our scene from getting larger, and I think that's awful. And you know, honestly, as I say this, it's just, you know, if I go to my Twitter account, there's 1.1 million views on this, guys.
I didn't even know that. 1.1 million? That's insane.
It still makes me laugh to this day, but the sad part is
everything is sad about this.
That's joy. That's genuine joy that Nintendo's games brings me.
He's about to cry.
So why can't they share some of that joy with us back? Why can't they help us out? They know they don't have to. but they really can.
Imagine.
They really can.
Imagine.
They know that if they do nothing, we're still going to push the game. We're still going to give them sales. So at this point, maybe it's just a moral argument. You know, it's like the shopping cart theory, right? When you go to
I know about this
Publix
theory.
or a Walmart, whatever it is, you have a shopping cart, right? You finish shopping, you go outside, you go find your car.
So, fun fact, before I let Hungrybox continue, my first job was me being like a 15-year-old working at a supermarket. I used to push carts, and this theory really hits hard, like hits close to home, because like what the shopping cart theory is that it's not legal or illegal or morally wrong or right whether if you leave a shopping cart, that if you put back a shopping cart or you just leave it there. One, it is my job to push it back because I get paid for it anyways. Or two, like, you'll do me a favor and, you know, I'll thank you. I'll heavily appreciate that you put back the cart back in its place. But at the same time, like, I understand that because I'm getting paid to do it. So it's like, the end of it all is like, if you're a good person or not. If you're a good person or not. It's very complicated, but it kind of shows your morals as an individual. Like what are your values and like what do you think about other people? So it's very interesting.
There's no legal ramification at all to you leaving your cart in the middle of the parking lot, getting in your car and fucking off.
Yep.
You can do that, and there's no ramification. There's also no benefit at all for having the shopping cart and pushing it in and getting it in there so it's easier for the workers. You benefit nothing from doing that, and you also lose nothing from leaving it there. It's just called simply being a good fucking person. Now, there's a lot of different legal, loopholes to jump through here with Nintendo, but maybe this is also a case of the shopping cart theory. If they really don't have to push us because they are already getting benefit from us advertising for them, and if they really don't lose anything from giving us support, then does it just come down to the answer of just being a good company?
Damn. He hit hard.
The whole question now, is Nintendo a good company?
Is Nintendo a good company?
The company I grew up with. The company, the games that gave me so much escape. A career, a life. I quit my job to pursue entertainment through their game. It's just hard to believe.
And it's sad because I understand how Hungrybox feels. Like, playing Wi-Fi just like, it just makes me lose my mind, and I can't believe I have to put up with it if I want to be successful in the Smash community. That's why content creation is king. Like, you could do whatever you want. You could play with CPUs and then people will still watch your videos.
Anyway, to finish up. The effects in this scene have felt greater than before. Companies don't have the same enthusiasm of working with Smash like they used to, even if they're trying at all anymore. As far as I know, ESL and E-League have nothing in the works for us. Red Bull's resorted to clever workarounds to put on events without getting hammered from Nintendo. Effects on the scene. With Nintendo and grassroots, it's a crazy world we live in when the announcement of a Nintendo-approved grassroots event is considered a bad thing by the community. It's a near guarantee that UCF, Slippy, and PM won't be present. I spoke to a few TOs to get some insight as to what comes with a Nintendo partnership, and this is all true.
Okay, this is interesting. This is important.
Allowing events to use their brand, which adds legitimacy to sponsors and potential attendees. The event won't get a cease and desist, not that it would in the first place, but the partnership guarantees it. It's like, we won't slap you for this one. And for some events, they can use the Nintendo versus Twitter account that posts about the event. For one event, Nintendo delivered, but for one event, Nintendo did not deliver on that, but did during the second year. And that's it. That's not money. That's like them handing us a half-assed Twitter account. My tweets could give them more publicity than that.
Yeah, like Nintendo's Twitter account sucks.
A half-assed Twitter account and a promise that they won't shut us down.
They're gonna... It's funny how all of this is happening in the Smash community, and then they're gonna advertise like Mario and Luigi go golfing or some shit. Like, it happens like every day.
I don't know. I guess the only like real nice part is the legitimacy part, because then other sponsors could get into the event saying, "Hey, we have Nintendo," and they're like, "Oh, we like Nintendo." But that's it. No direct cash influx, no direct push, no dev support like you've seen in so many other titles.
Useless. Toxic relationship.
That's mostly it. Support varies between events. One TO received partial support for consoles to the event, while others did not. So he got consoles maybe. No TO I spoke to received direct financial support. Wow. No TO received direct financial support. That is actually jarring. One event received indirect support via connections that enabled discounts for setups and equipment. But every Splatoon setup was provided for by Nintendo at every event they were part of.
Why is Splatoon so important?
Activation areas before the game's release to advertise it like its CEO. This is all without directly paying the tournament organizers. So they were taking up floor space that other small booths usually have to take up to pay to promote their own upcoming titles at events for Nintendo fans. It's like they can choose what to support at their choosing whenever they want to. A final note on this: TOs are obligated to run Nintendo ads for these Nintendo sanctioned events. Considered how little they do for the event, it's actually hilarious.
Insane.
Oh my god.
Insane.
And this is the last page, guys. Project M and P+, which is what started this whole controversy a while ago after EVO 2013, which was such a beautiful, beautiful scene. There was no cease and desist. There was no cease and desist. What happened was Nintendo essentially stated to people within our scene that our community support of PM was what was preventing them from working with us. So naturally, eager TOs and streamers saw an opportunity to work with Nintendo and contribute to the successful start of a Nintendo Smash circuit. People were nixing PM from the tournaments for the greater good. I heard it myself from many TOs and the streamers. They thought they were doing something good for the scene, so I can't blame them. They chose to drop PM from their events on this promise. This hurt the PM scene tremendously. You couldn't even stream it on Twitch, and we couldn't find that it was for nothing. Furthermore, the loss of PM actually cost our community due to the loss of revenue from PM attendees and viewership. And my God, to the PM community, I am so damn sorry you had to go through this. There was no cease and desist. People could have played the game. Did you know at one point,
that's so sad,
I believe it was Apex, either Apex 2014 or Apex 2015, PM had the most entrants of any game there. The perfect merger between the Brawl and the Melee community. A marvel of effort just from the grassroots to give ourselves something the game that Nintendo wouldn't. And there was no cease and desist according to this document. What injustice.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hungrybox cried, actually, because, like, if I was in this position, I would too. Sacrificing your life for this game. These are people's lives, and I think people's lives are important, you know. Just a company just half-assing you. It's like working for a bad employer, you know. Like, employer really doesn't care about you. They're just there. They keep promising that they'll make things better, but in reality, they want you to be stuck in your position. And I know a lot of people can't relate to, like, being a content creator or, like, a player in the Smash community like that, but I know a lot of people could relate to having, like, a bad employer. And this is how the whole community feels. They'll shut us up with a new DLC, a character we want for a long time. That's what their free pizza party is for, like that we pay for. So it's like a pizza that we'll get on a Friday that we paid for. That's what DLC is. Like, it'll just keep us contented, full, and happy for a bit till we complain again. And another DLC comes out.
I'm livid.
I'm livid too.
Like, my heart breaks for them. I was part of the PM community once, and it's just...
It's sad. It's sad, man. It's sad.
Speechless. I'm actually speechless at that. Esports teams. You know, a lot of top-level players have been getting trouble securing a team, and players on tier 1 teams began to let it go. A long time ago, teams were hopeful for Smash, and there was a surge of player pickups. There was. Because of the crazy level of fan engagement paid up with the hope that an eventual Nintendo circuit that never came to be. Teams have begun to understand Nintendo will never support the game, and thus have had to make the difficult decision to drop several Smashers over the last few years. So because of all this, not only is the scene being hurt, Players who had aspirations, dreams, and hopes to be professional gamers, smashers, content creators, people to be in the spots of top players, those dreams are crushed now. Even ultimate players, ultimate pros, a brand new, well, not brand new, but a very relevant game. I get that I'm one of the lucky ones, but why was I lucky? It wasn't because of Nintendo.
Powerful words.
We did this all ourselves.
Yep,
we went
we
to
did
the tournaments
all
ourselves. I hosted
Grassroots.
tournaments myself. We created content ourselves. We gave ourselves a life that Nintendo wouldn't give us. At this point, I think the only hope is some billionaire to come out of nowhere and front all the money for Nintendo. Or, sorry, front all the money for the Smash scene to make it thrive again. There's got to be some business model where it works. There's got to be something there that allows everyone to benefit.
Oh, will Nintendo
You know what the fact of the
comply?
matter is? The truly most unfortunate thing is? You know what the bad luck is? And I can't believe I'm saying this. But of all the companies that could have made Smash, the most beautiful game ever made, it had to be Nintendo.
That hurts. I have
They can be
chills
so much
down
better.
my spine. Like,
They can be the company that we dream of. Closing thoughts. Keep up the passion by protecting the Smash community. Every single part of the community has been held back by Nintendo. While Nintendo is powerful, I truly believe that our love for the various Smash games is strong enough to allow us to continue on for years, even decades, into the future. We've survived for this long despite many hurdles, and we can overcome the new ones too.
that's deep, man. That's very deep. It's sad. It's so sad.
Everyone, buckle up and hold on tight. Because I, for one, am not letting this scene go anywhere. I'm going to put in my effort. And if you guys keep doing your effort, if you keep supporting the grassroots scenes, entering online tournaments, making your own content, continuing to live in the world where the game exists even without the support of Nintendo, the game only dies when we stop playing it. The game only decides when we decide it's dead. I don't know what opportunities it's going to be. I don't know where the money is going to be. I don't know if people can make a living off it in the future. But what I do know is this. If the game is played, if the game is enjoyed, and if the game is shared, the game is immortal. And Nintendo cannot kill what's immortal. Thank you.
You heard him, guys? Let's keep the scene alive. Shoutouts to all my TOs. Shoutouts to all my content creators. Shoutouts to all of my players. Shoutouts to all of my spectators. Shoutouts to all my casual players. Shoutouts to the sweaty tryhards. Shoutouts to everyone. Shoutouts to the meme creators. Let's keep Smash alive. Thank you.